Hello friends in Law of Analytics, myself Lakshay, a legal intern from Lexis & Company. Today I am going to discuss about International Humanitarian Law, IHL. It is also known as the Law of Armed Conflict or the Law of War. It is set out of rules and principles that regulates the conduct of armed conflict. Its purpose is to protect individuals who are not or no longer participating in hostilities and to limit the means and methods of warfare. Some of the rules or key principles are listed. Distinction. Parties to conflict must distinguish between civilians and combatants as well as between civilian objects and military objectives. The principle of distinction requires that only military targets be attacked and civilian objects must be spared from direct attack. Proportionality. The principle of proportionality prohibits attacks that may cause excessive loss of civilian life or damage to civilian objects in relation to the anticipated military advantage. Precautions for the modern warfare. Parties to a conflict must take precautions to minimize harm to civilians and civilian objects. They are obligated to take all feasible measures to avoid or minimize harm, such as giving advance warning of attacks when possible. Prohibition of indiscriminate attacks. Indiscriminate attacks which do not distinguish between civilians and combatants or those which employ methods or means of warfare that cannot be directed at a specific military target are prohibited. The use of weapons that cause excessive incidental harm to civilians is also prohibited. Prohibition of torture and inhuman treatment. International humanitarian law prohibits torture, cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment, as well as outrages upon personal dignity. Protection of civilians. Civilians must be protected from the effects of hostilities. Parties to a conflict must avoid targeting civilians and take precautions to prevent their harm. Civilians enjoy special protection and cannot be object of direct attack. International humanitarian law applies to both international and non-international armed conflicts and is primarily embedded in the Geneva Conventions of 1949 and their additional protocols. I hope you are clear with the overview. If you have any doubt, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you.